So good morning everyone, and welcome to another episode of Viva Cafe con Leche. I am Dr. Lori Monaco with Align Yourself Inc. I am a transformational speaker and coach, also a mindfulness practitioner and coach, and I keep screwing up my intro all the time. I'm a holistic practitioner and I am the Badass Buddha. Good morning from Southern Connecticut.
Good morning, buenos días, mi gente. Welcome. And I am La Margarita, stretching, spiritual and creative healing life coach. And I want to welcome you this morning with mucho amor, como decía Walter Mercado, and from Drury, Florida. And I am your gladiator guru. So welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche.
Good morning, gladiator guru. How are you? How did you sleep?
I'm tired.
You're tired.
I'm tired,
Me too.
yeah.
Me too, as we sip our coffees to wake us up.
Oh my God. What are you drinking today?
You know what? I don't remember the brand, and it's not worth talking about. I'm just trying to let it go. I keep forgetting to order coffee because I like the different types, the different like brands. I like to experiment with the different brands, and flavored coffee, was my thing. So that I've been slack on that. Well, it's not that I've been slack. I just have not put it in my to-do list because I've had so much other stuff to do. So how about you? What are you drinking this morning?
I'm drinking Cafe Bustelo. Yesterday's Cafe Bustelo. Some organic coconut milk and my monk fruit sugar. And it is delicious. You see, I got the bigger mug today, right?
I know. And what does it say? It says,
like, it is literally my big mug. It says, think happy, be happy.
I love it. And I love the color of that mug. It's simple. It's very simple in its explanation. And good morning, everyone. I hope you have your cup of coffee with you. I hope you're ready to go for the conversation part 2 today. Are you online? Did you do a share party? Are you good to go?
I believe that if anybody's on my watch party, say something.
Oh, I see it. Yep, you're on. Your watch party is in fact on.
Okay, good.
On to mine.
So I'm on a watch party.
Michelle is on this morning, jumping on. She said, Jeffrey and I are here. Good morning. Yes, and congratulations to Jeffrey for winning yet another prestigious award. That dog is he's not even a dog. He's like beyond dog. He's like super dog. He is an amazing, like, I can't even describe it. I don't want to say amazing dog. He's just this amazing entity. And so is his owner, because she has been the one that has brought him to this. I mean, he has his own thing too, but Michelle, seriously, kudos, honey. I mean, you've done such an amazing job with, actually all the animals that you work with. So she says she's drinking ShopRite Instant Decaf. I know, sacrilege. Hey, sometimes it is what it is.
But at least when she's caught in a pinch at a boring event, she can be the life of a party and tell them a joke of how she's a coffee drinker drinking decaf.
And instant.
Michelle, I love your courage to say that.
Okay, so Margie and I were talking yesterday. We had our usual weekly. We have 2 meetings a week, and we were chatting, and we want to really tighten things up a little bit with the show, and we want to be even more consistent. And so we had mentioned this before. We started to do it, and then we kind of stopped. So I think, or we spoke about it yesterday, and we know that we want to really implement this on a more regular basis, is to set the intention for the day at the start of every show. In addition, we will also, we're adding this piece that Margie came up with yesterday, is to create a manifestation mantra so that throughout your day, you can say this over and over again to yourself, just to keep yourself boosted, to make sure that your intentions are steadfast. You can also repeat your intentions if you need to. That's totally fine. There's nothing wrong. You don't have to just set an intention for a day and then never talk about it again. But it's nice because it's meant for you to keep repeating and repeating. And most people like to do mantras. Technically, most of the time, mantras are done just to be done. But in our society, people find mantras are very helpful when they're stressed out and when they're in a really good mood and they start to shift, that they do these mantras. So do we want to, well, before we do set the intention and do the mantra, why don't you go ahead and remind everybody about the pictures, the hashtags, our channels, subscribing, all that fun stuff.
Mi gente, your taza de café challenge photos, please send them in. I think we got 2 last on Tuesday.
Okay,
it's
great.
Just a selfie of you holding your mug or of you. It's nothing. I don't need a whole theatrical backdrop. I don't care if it's,
but if you want to.
Yeah, if it's on your banister out in your yard, show me some greenery. If it's just sitting on your windowsill or just sitting there as the sun coming through, I don't care. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be your morning taza de café mug, and send it in, por favor. Or you can just tag us on Facebook, the Viva Cafe con Leche, or the Instagram, Viva Cafe con Leche. And YouTube, we have a fabulous YouTube channel coming on where we are
it's on, actually. It's already,
yeah, so where all the videos are being posted there, and they will be going forward. So just go and subscribe and like and share. It's nothing but your index finger touching in on something, and
Correct.
It's just a will to grow with something that's funny and that can bring laughter and smiles to many people's faces. It's just that working with your tribe and everybody pitching in and everybody assisting everyone in growing. So let's be that for one another. So just go to YouTube and like and subscribe. That's it, mi gente.
Yep.
Boom, 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 boom. That's
in
it.
the search box, Viva Cafe con Leche. There we go.
Boom, boom, and that's it.
That's it.
And let's do it. Let's, everybody talks about being a good person and how we want to thrive and whatever it is that we're doing, and we want to just, be that white light for other people. It's with these simple steps. It's not with you donating money, giving this to giving that. It's you just paying it forward in small ways. And for Viva, that would be like and subscribe.
Yes.
That's simple.
Yes. Besides, our content is like awesome. Hello. And if you're watching the content, so you're liking it and something you want to hear and that you like. So it's good for you to share it with other people. And we would appreciate it because we want to be out there. We want everybody to own their true self, be authentic, because God knows that's what Margie and I are, for heaven's sake. We want them to just step into their greatness and stop holding back, because, I'm speaking for myself, as I held back for way too many years, like way too many years. Margie, I got to give her credit. I mean, she's done it off and on for her. She's stepped back away from herself, sometimes not purposeful. Mine was always purposeful. It was just insecurities. But in her case, there were obstacles in the way. But now we're at that point where both of us are breaking free from that. We're done with that. And we want to move forward, and we want to take you along on the ride with us. And we want you to be able to say, hey, I knew those two when they started out on Facebook and they had like whatever amount of views. Now we got thousands of views. And we want to be those people because we think that we've got some great stuff that people need to hear. Right? Absolutely.
You know what? Everybody, shit, I need to hear half the shit I'm saying out in this morning show. So let's keep it 100% real. Some of the things that we research, the topics we have chosen, I think the universe always conspires to help us heal. So when we sat and we were thinking up of topics, and then we had to see, it was a process, mi gente. We thought of different topics. Then on our next conversation, and the next conversation, and the next conversation, we picked dates, and then we switched dates. And so the universe conspired to have us have certain topics on certain specific days. I truly believe that, because on 9 out of the 10 shows, these topics have touched me, have helped me rearrange the furniture in my attic.
Yes.
Made me confront, look in the mirror, and really question myself. Is this what you've been doing? We need to change.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so it's, you know what we think it's like, and we just brush it off and do whatever. Those are the most impactful words or laughter or camaraderie when we have a guest. That guest brings something so special that if you don't really like pay attention, you're gonna miss it, because it's that white light that's so clear and so just smooth and like velvet going by, that if you're really not paying attention, you're gonna miss that. Like all the opportunities you've missed. I've been banging on your freaking door and you've been like, oh my God, do you hear that? And then you wonder why things aren't going well, because you're not fully present in your now.
And we know, because we've been there. We experienced it throughout our lives. And I think you said that so beautifully, Margie, because it's true. It's like the topics that we come up with, it's not that we're experts in the topic. It's just, we think it's a topic that needs to be talked about. And then as we research and discuss it and have our meetings and then get on and have conversation about it and then have the guests, we learn so much. Because transformation is lifelong. You're always growing. You're always one-upping yourself. So don't ever think that every single person out there has it together. All these personal development people that are hugely famous, that they have it together. These people have like 4 coaches, 5 coaches, business coaches, marketing coaches, personal coaches, spiritual coaches. They have people that constantly help them just build themselves up. And so for us, we give the show to all of you because we felt that we had something important to say. But the other piece is that it's reciprocated, because that's why we encourage the comments, because you give back to us. Us stepping up and helping you helps us. And then the comments that you give back to us and the feedback, it's fantastic. And it just really gives us, I don't know, it's beautiful. It's just a big love fest, I kind of feel like, right, Margie? I mean, we talk about that all the time.
Yeah, and I think as women, we want that camaraderie. We want that tribe of realists, friends that's going to say, girlfriend, you ain't wearing that out in the street, and you definitely ain't wearing walking with me. We need a lot of that. I see a lot of that shit where you say that she don't have no friends. But that's the type of friend that we all need. We need that one that's going to call you out on your shit, knowing that you might be sensitive as hell and be crying me a river for no reason, because I can't believe you said that. But a real friend's going to say, you know what, here's some tissue because I got to let you know about something.
Yes.
And everybody craves that. And then when they get it, they find 50 million fucking reasons why they don't want to be around it. And I believe it's those red flags. It's those red flags for you. Like, I'll be that red flag for you where I'm going to say something. You're not going to like me because you don't really, because I'm, in your eyes, I'm forcing you to see something you're not ready to. Obviously, if I'm here, then that means you're ready. So, I mean, so red flags, like we talked, it's not only about a sexual relationship with somebody. It's those friendships that sometimes we ignore them on purpose because we just don't want to deal with the reality that we need to better ourselves. So as a tribe member, that's what happens a lot. So therefore, then you get the people that love to listen, but that's it. They don't push it forward. Well, you know what, mi gente, in order for you to grow, for us to grow, for our tribe to grow, for our children to see us growing and thrive for the same thing, we have to support one another.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And listen, I'll give you a prime example. So you want people in your world that are going to throw up those red flags for you when you need it. And here's a good way to, when you get people that are saying stuff to you, and here's a good way to judge, like, or not that, to question yourself. So if somebody says something to you and it pisses you off, because it's like a personal thing. You feel like it's almost like a personal attack. I want you, before you react, I want you to step back and think about what they said and see if it has any type of merit. Now, it doesn't mean that they always do, because there's always, next week we're gonna be talking about toxic relationships, and we're gonna be talking about heavily about narcissists. And so those individuals will always say stuff that have absolutely, it's not meant for your growth whatsoever. But I'll give you an example. So, and I don't know if I've ever shared this on this program. I might have shared it on my other one, and I know we need to get going on this, but it involves Margie. So a couple of years back, I was supposed to do a really big Facebook Live. It was the first time I ever done a Facebook Live with Mind Body, which is a very big company, international company for software. Anyway, so I got on the platform and I start going, and 10 minutes into my 20-minute thing, I lose feed. And I'm freaking out. The people are texting me. I'm trying to get back on, whatever it was. And I was so excited about this because I was like, oh my God, this is a really big break. They have like a huge following on Facebook. I'm going to get out there, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden the universe said, yeah, I don't think so. So I got back on, but it was like I couldn't focus. I lost my concentration. I lost the feed again. And the lady was just like, okay, you know, whatever, don't worry about it. It's okay. But I was so upset. I was so pissed off. And the first person I text was Margie. And I said, oh my God, I'm so pissed off. This happened, blah, blah, blah. And I wanted so badly for her to give me the pity party. I wanted the pity party. I wanted her to come in and enjoy the pity party with me. I wanted her to be, oh my God, that's so terrible. I'm so sorry. And she sends me a text message back and it says, what did you learn? And I looked at the phone and I went, oh. I was so mad at that response at that moment. And then I took a step back and I'm like, okay, what did I learn? You know, and that was the greatest thing she could have ever sent me, because there was no point in having the pity party. It happened. It was in the past. It's done. I could figure out, try to, I mean, obviously you want to figure out what happened so that it doesn't happen again. But that's what I needed to hear. And that's what a good friend is. That's what a good friend is. And that's not a red flag. That is somebody who loves and cares about you and knows your potential. Not somebody who says, oh, well, that's because you suck and blah, blah, blah. She didn't say that. She said, what did you learn? That was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful question. So thank you, my dear. I definitely
welcome.
That. Do we need to do some shout outs before we set the intention and get?
There is nobody on my watch party. I don't know if I did it right. You have about 9 people on yours.
Yeah, so let's see. Shout out to Stephanie's on, Stephanie Nieves, and Iritza's on. Good morning.
Hola, mi gente. I just sent where are you, mi gente, on mine, because I have absolutely nobody on there. So freckle face, both freckle face, because Stephanie Nieves and my cousin Iris are like beautiful freckle faced. So good morning, ladies. Who else you have?
That's it. Whoever else might be on is just not showing on my end. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's what it is to end. So just, you know what, in order to move forward, we all need to grow in abundance with people who are in the right space, body, mind, and spirit. So pick your tribe and then be committed to growing with that tribe, no matter what tribe it is. So, and that's what, the thing is, the important things in life is accountability for what you do, for your actions, your accountability. Don't be so focused on what the hell I'm doing that you're losing accountability for yourself. Because there's so many people caught up in trying to see what I'm doing wrong that they're just standing in the wastelands on their own merit, and then they want to blame everybody around you. Worry about you, and I'll take care of me. And that way we all grow, we're all prosperous, and we're all feeling the flow of the universe individually, so that then we can come together as a collective and shine. So go ahead. I think we got to bring in Laurita.
Yeah, so let's set our intention for today. So today's intention is to seek inner strength, see beyond what we believe ourselves to be, and believe we are worth it. So please set that intention for yourself today.
Say it again.
Okay, sure. Seek inner strength for today. See beyond what we believe ourselves to be and believe we are worth it. And this is really important, especially for today and Tuesday's conversation with relationship red flags. So if we want to be able to see, seek inner strength and see beyond what we believe ourselves to be, what's in front of us. So see beyond that. And with it, may I be happy, may I be well, may I be safe, may I be peaceful and at ease. And that's from my friends at Mind Valley. So again, the mantra is, may I be happy, may I be well, may I be safe, may I be peaceful and at ease.
May I?
You may.
Awesome. Awesome.
And good morning, Janet's on. Janet's on. Yay.
Good morning, Janet. And Lillian, good morning. She's on my page.
Hey, Lillian.
I'm alive.
Right.
She says, I've been on and said good morning on the Viva page. Yep, I guess she's having problems.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I can see it come
well,
up.
we're here now. We're here now.
Good enough. Okay, so let's get Laura in.
Laurita.
All right, here we go. Ooh, Laura's looking good. She's probably like, what happened? They didn't get me on here. Laura, where are you, my dear?
Are you taking a quick nap on the floor, Laurita?
Oh my God, unless she's in the bathroom. She might have said like, oh, I got time. Let me take a quick bathroom break.
Go ahead. Let it out. Let it out. Let it out.
Let it go.
That's it. That's what they say. You have to purge in order to grow, right? This right. Purge.
Janet said, good morning, beautiful ladies. Love you, mi hermana. Nice.
Good morning. Buenos dias. Namaste. It's so cute when little Mateo, he sees me, he'll say that. Good morning, Margie.
Margie, I love it. He's...
Buenos dias. Then he goes, namaste. He goes like this. And I'm like, yeah. Good morning, Larita.
Laura. Hooray. Look at you. How beautiful you look.
Let me see your earrings.
Oh, your earrings are beautiful.
Oh, they're like pom-poms. Oh, gitana. Gitana.
Look how beautiful she is. I was saying that yesterday when we were talking and I was putting your picture up. I'm like, oh my God, Laura's such a knockout. She's such a...
Thank you.
So all three, look at these three I mean, listen, everybody just strike a pose. For those of you that are watching, all three of us just strike a pose. Look how sexy we are. Okay, my dear. So, oh, look at that, Pasquale and Julie. One of my relatives. I can't remember if Pasquale is in Italy. I think he lives in Italy. I can't remember. I have so many relatives, but that'd be great. Good morning, Pasquale. What is it? You say pronto? No, prego. I can't remember when you greet people.
Prego.
Yes, prego.
Prego, right? Pronto is something else.
When you answer the phone.
On the phone, yes. When you answer the phone. That's how my grandmother used to answer it. So.
Hola, Michi. Hello, my friend.
Okay,
hello.
So, how are you, Laura? We missed you.
I'm doing great. How are you?
Well, we're all good here.
I have to show my love, Margarita, my mug.
Oh my God, you still have it?
Yes, I do.
Oh my God, I left mine, and in one of the moments I left a relationship and just walked out. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was 3 relationships ago. You had Robert, Sorrell, and then Eric, who just had the nerve to die. But yeah.
Oh my God. Listen, that just shows you the age when we start going by relationships.
Oh my God.
2, 3, 4 relationships ago, you know? Well, less.
Oh God.
You have a lot.
Okay, so you guys up.
So relationship red flags, and Laura wore red today. So she wants to be that noticeable red flag, and we're going to get some great insight from her today. So Laura, we started our conversation on Tuesday, and we were talking about examples of red flags, which we can still also bring into the conversation today. And what are and when do we tend to notice the red flags? Like, why is it that Sometimes it takes us a really long time to notice them, sometimes not so much. And why we ignore them. And even when people point them out, we tend to ignore them. So we've already spoke a lot about that, but we could absolutely speak about it again for those that didn't see Tuesday's show or those that need to hear it again. So based on your training and your background, what do you feel is the biggest reason why we tend not to pay attention to those red flags?
I probably would have to say one is just an unawareness of what they are, right? Our radar isn't programmed into looking for the red flags. I think another aspect is denial. We just don't want to see it. And I think I don't know if you guys did on Tuesday, I think we should really classify some early red flags, right? First date red flags or initial dating red flags, and then maybe we could go into more advanced kind of red flags once the relationship gets some legs and starts going.
Perfect, go for it.
So I think some early red flags are canceling on the first date, right? Always canceling, never rescheduling, trying to set up a date, being busy all the time. You're trying to make plans and no, I can't do that. No, I can't do that. No, I'm busy. I'm this, I'm that. I think some other behaviors to watch, and it's so funny because it's hard to do right now because we're all in quarantine and we're not, out with potential mates and all this, but something as simple as being rude to the waiter is a red flag, okay? Being overly critical of somebody, an ex, a boss.
Oh, in the conversation? Yes.
Yes, that's a big time red flag. So your antenna should be looking for that, right? I think if somebody comes on really strong and kind of lays on the compliments early, big red flag, okay? So I think those, one more thing. I think when because you're always kind of, well hopefully that you're thinking through some of the things, because people usually show you who they are within the first 5 minutes.
I read that. Yep, absolutely.
You have to pay attention to those things. They're showing you. Sometimes they're not even aware that they're showing you, okay? So you have to have your antenna up, your radar going, and looking for those things, right? And so when you're tracking, the conversation, you're tracking the data points that are coming in, if things don't add up, red flag. And I wore red today in honor of the red flag.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying.
Lipstick.
Yes, beautiful.
Red flags. So I think those are some early red flags, right? You can pick those up early on, first date, second date, things like that. But because we're, in a pandemic and a lot of folks are dating online, you can't see those kinds of behaviors. You can't see the person being rude to the waiter or how they're going to react in traffic if you're trying to get to a reservation and you're running late and they're having a temper tantrum in the car. So that would be something that would be a red flag.
Oh my God, I'm laughing because everything that you described were like all my first dates, like in the first 5 minutes of or even just not even dating, just meeting them. Everyone I've ever dated. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't I would meet them and before even dated, that just became friends, didn't like them because I thought they were like showboating or they were just too I don't know, creepy. And then it's that almost like that intuition. You get like that little gut feeling in the beginning, but then you ignore it. Then you say, it just.
Why?
I know.
Why do we ignore it? What are your thoughts on that?
I think because we go into this first meet or this first date nervous. So when our gut is telling us hello, watch it, then we dismiss it by they must be as nervous as we are. As it's not their normal behavior, but I know my palms are sweating. I got to piss for the 5th time. Am I going to eat and food's going to be stuck in my teeth? We're with our vain and shallowness, we're thinking about all this shit, right? So then we see something about them and our hair stand up, our nipples get pointy, and our gut is like, hold up.
But the nipples are pointy for a whole different reason.
Because we're alert. Our whole body becomes alert. And then the missiles are pointed, right? And what do? They must be as nervous
my
as we
missiles
are.
don't point when I'm nervous.
Mine's point up all the time. But, so it's like, so I think that's one of the main reasons we, as super strong, intuitive women, dismiss the bullshit right at the start. Because we put excuses for them, and then we get mad when they put excuses for us.
And like Laura said, I think it's the denial piece. I think we sit there and we second guess ourselves to say, I'm like you said, I'm nervous, so it can't be that. It can't be like this. It can't be this type of person that I'm dealing with and whatever. So yeah, I agree. What about? So I love this. I love that you're doing the beginning relationship thing. What about, keep going with it, because a lot of our viewers are at all stages. Some people are not dating anybody. Some people have been in long-term relationships, and some people are at like the end of their long-term relationship. They just need to hear this extra stuff. So keep going with that. This is fantastic.
Okay. So we'll move into more, once we're kind of in the groove and rolling, and we've been dating for, I don't know, a month, 2 months, 6 months, and they're still popping up, because it's like you have to peel back the onion, right? Because everybody's on their good behavior in the beginning.
Yes, the honeymoon stage. You're in the honeymoon stage. Yep.
Exactly. People aren't going to expose themselves being an ass right off the jump, because then they would have nobody. So they hide, and they placate, and they, control how much they let out. But that's a red flag. If you find that this person has controlling behaviors, right? How often you see someone, what the conditions that you see them under, those kinds of controlling behaviors, isolating you, taking you away from your family, that's a red flag. Okay. When you're constantly having to boost this person up, if they feel insecure, and you're constantly having to reassure them that they're doing the right thing. Oh, honey, you're so wonderful. Oh, you do.
Oh my God, that's so exhausting.
It is fucking exhausting. Let me emphasize the exhausting. Yes. Been there.
So fucking unnecessary. God.
So
and we do it. And we do it.
Yep.
I think. Go ahead, Marge.
I said, because we're such Captain Save-A-Hole, we just want, to save everybody and to shine the light on their potential when they're kicking ours down. And it's like, but we still don't see that. We're like, he's got to know how great he is, and I'm here to do that. No, you're not. Sit the fuck down.
No, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not building. If you're not built up and whole before I meet you, next.
Listen, my nigga, I don't play with Legos.
Oh my God, yes. Do you know how long it took me to figure that out? 45 years old. That's when I figured that one out.
Me too, Lori. I think it's just part of our feminine nature to nurture.
Yes.
Oh, if I love him, he'll be, he can realize his potential, and we're always trying to fix and make and this and that. No.
I think we're all guilty of it at every stage in our life. We could have had 5 of these relationships in our 20s. Here we are in our 50s. We meet somebody, and then we're going to head there. And then, but it's up to us to catch ourselves. Like, I said I wasn't doing this shit no more. Where you at? What you got? I'm busy.
Yeah. I think people should show up to a relationship whole.
Yes.
Complete. You're going to bring me to the next level of my evolvement, right? I don't need to fix you and fill you up. You're not coming to me with a hollow leg that I need to pour into.
But it feeds, the society feeds into this, because like even like the most quoted thing from a movie, the most romantic quote ever from Jerry Maguire, where it says, "You complete me." And I posted that one day, or multiple times on Facebook actually, and I said, if someone says that to you, run the other direction.
Run
the other direction, because you need to be a whole, and you create a whole new. And That's the way.
Yeah.
We don't look at it that. We always think, oh, like yin and yang, half and half. And it's like, no, it doesn't work that way. It's whole, you're whole, and you come together and you create a whole new entity together. That's how it works.
Yes, I would say run like your hair's on fire.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly.
You a green apple. Yeah. If I meet you, you gotta be a Fannie Mae green apple. I'm the red apple. Let's come together and plant the fucking trees.
Yes.
That's how we gotta go forward. And let's build an orchard together. But
what else do you have? What else do you have for longer relationships?
Longer relationships. Okay, I would say conversational aggression is a great red flag, where they're constantly controlling the conversation, dictating what's talked about, what's not talked about, right? If you have an issue, and communication is so key, I think that's a big red flag in your relationship. If you cannot communicate, it's not likely to succeed, right? Because the foundation of every relationship is communication. So I think
it will get worse. It will get worse. And the moment you try to switch it after you've already invested a little bit of time in, it's much harder to change that behavior. It's not saying you can't with an individual, but it's much harder to change that behavior. And then at some point, you have to face the facts that you can't be in it anymore. Just that.
You mean the communication piece? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
Laura?
just that piece alone. Yes. Right. If you allow it to go for a certain period of time.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting because those conversational dynamics start very early, right? Because that people get into their style of communication from a very young age, right? It starts very young. And because we're thinking about, when we were kids and how we got love and how we were loved, right? So we repeat those patterns, those relationship patterns throughout our lives, right? And if we were constantly fighting for attention as a child, that's going to kind of play out in our adult life if we haven't resolved and worked through some of those issues, right?
Yes.
If you think about, people who have, low levels of self-esteem from childhood into adulthood, and they have this need to be needed, right? That's a red flag, okay? And are they constantly looking for ways to create a dependency for you to be dependent on them, setting up that dynamic, right? Have them be always the hero, riding in on the white knight, so that communication, that piece kind of factors into communication. Notice the patterns of how the conversations flow. Is it always about them expressing their needs, their day, what happened to them, never asking about you? Big red flag, right? How does the relationship flow? Like what are two parties equal in terms of sharing and gaining and things like that? I think also entitlement is a huge red flag, right? And we see this with lots of narcissists, right? They have this ability to kind of command the presence, and this person is the best thing since sliced bread, and they're entitled, to not have to answer to anybody, or believe they have a different set of rules that don't apply to them.
Right? Oh my God, I'm a narcissist!
And this is the conversation next week. Oh, no, you're not. Listen, this is the conversation next week. We're going to be talking about toxic relationships, and that's going to be one of the key things. We're talking about narcissists next week. But go ahead, keep going, because this
is good.
Bring it home, man, because I'm telling you, this is like my dating history right here. So go ahead.
Okay, so another red flag.
And friend history, actually. It's not, because we weren't even just talking about dating. We're talking like relationships. We're talking about significant others, like that people that have been in, people you've dated before or whatever, or you're currently in, but also friendships, because all of this is completely applicable. If you have a friend that you can't speak, every time you talk, like the one-upper, how about that? You see that a lot, where you say something and they always have to one-up you. Everything that they do is either worse or better than what you do. And it's their attention grabber. They always have to be the center of attention, sort of like I'm doing right now. So go ahead.
There's an underlying to all the negative and positives of what you just said, because I'm Italian and Puerto Rican. I be interrupting bitches like crazy.
You're different though, Margie. There's a difference. It's you know when to stop, and you know you know when to step back, and you don't mind. You know when to. I don't know. It's different, and Laura knows what I'm saying. It's just there's a big difference between somebody who's compassionate and loving, but just proud and strong and
loud
and loud and
Yeah.
and not afraid to step up. But you don't have to. It's like you could walk into a room and you could be the quietest person in there, won't bother you.
No.
Yes. Marge, I think you have the wonderful ability to listen.
I do too.
Yeah, you have a wonderful ability to listen, and compassion is one of your greatest gifts.
Oh, thank you.
I agree.
So more red flags. I think a dark, secretive past. If you're not getting details of what it was like for them growing up, or their formative years in high school and adulthood and early relationships, and not willing to talk about exes or learning experiences.
That's a good point.
Yep.
Big red flag.
Yep. That's
Big red flag. If your family members or friends do not like this person, big red flag. Okay? But we make a million excuses, and what we do is we create these stories in our heads of
Yes.
why the people don't like the person we're with.
That's correct.
Right? And we project these stories, and we make excuses, and we don't listen. I think that's huge.
Yeah.
Huge. So, also another one, and then I have a book recommendation that I love, and it's so simple and wonderful, but it's so poignant in terms of red flags. So I'll talk about the book before I forget. Steve Harvey wrote a book called Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man.
Yes, I've heard of that book.
I've read it.
Okay, I've read it twice. Steve Harvey says, within the first 6 months, your partner should provide 3 P's: provide, protect, and profess. I'll go over them one more time. Provide, protect, and profess. Provide. Not necessarily financially, but provide for you in some way. Give you something that you need, right? And I'm not saying you're needy or that they have to pay your electric bill or whatever. They're providing for you in some way. If in 6 months they are not doing that, run like your hair's on fire. Look at the back of my shoes, honey, as I walk out.
Awesome.
Okay? Protect in some way. They will protect you. They will set boundaries with their family. They won't let people come after you. They'll protect you from the rain, walk with your umbrella over your head, open your car door, protect you in some way. And I'm not too, what's the word? I love chivalry. I like the man to open my door.
Of course.
I think it's okay. And I'm a very independent woman, but I think that is just a wonderful thing.
I do too. Yep.
But some women aren't like, no, I can open my own door.
Yeah.
I can do this. I can carry my own luggage. That's okay. But I think men want to be men. They want to kind of stick out their chest and pick up the lady's luggage. Let it happen. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. So protect. And then the third one is profess. And profess is you have a title. Okay? They're professing. This is my girlfriend. This is my fiance. This is my future wife. This is someone who has a title in my life. This is it. This is Laura when you're introduced, right? There's a connection. There's a future. There's an identity here. Big red flag. If you're in this relationship and and you're just floundering, you don't know where you stand. It's kind of an immature kind of unpredictability of the relationship. You really don't know where you stand, where is it going, you know. So I think that's a huge red flag too.
Absolutely.
What's that, Marge?
I said absolutely. And in which one of those three does inclusion come in? Like decision making within the relationship at the 6-month mark. Which P does it fall under?
I don't know. Let's think about that for a minute. So
I would think
in
provide
terms
more
of
so.
decisions,
Like, I think it would be like provide, because it's mutual, right, in a way. I mean, those could be applicable to both sides of the relationship, those 3 Ps. But yes, just add it. Steve Harvey just wrote it, but that doesn't mean you can't add to it, you know?
yeah, maybe it needs a revision.
Yeah, because that was a great book. I love to listen to Steve Harvey. He's real.
Yes, I do too. But here's one thing I will say about that, though. Those are obvious red flags that anybody else will see except the person in the relationship, and will ignore those. However, what does freak me out, because I've been a part of this, are the not so obvious red flags, because all those 3 Ps I have seen consistently come out noticeably with narcissists. And meanwhile, they are absolutely lying through their teeth, and they will show all of that. This is my girlfriend. This is my and be all those things, all 3 Ps, and have a completely different life behind that person's back. I've seen it time and time again. I experienced it, but I've also seen it in family dynamic, and that's the scariest part, I think, with red flags, is that there are those that we choose to ignore. We see them and we don't do anything about them because we think they're going to change. We have more faith in the person than the own person does. Mm-hmm. There's those other pieces that you get, these red flags that not even anybody else may see, or people see it, but they don't say anything to you. And then all of a sudden it comes out like weeks, months, even maybe years later, where all of a sudden you find these things out and you're like, oh my God, and you're like blown away. It takes you feeling this gut feeling that something's wrong, and you break up. You don't even know why you broke up with the relationship, and you break up. Because I've had this happen with friends where something wasn't right. Everybody's like, what, are you kidding me? He's so great. He's so this, he's so that. And then they broke up, and then all of a sudden it comes out. Like all of a sudden you see the bigger picture, and then so does everybody around you. So that's I think a good, because we still have time. I want you to still finish what all the stuff you're talking about, Laura. But for next week's conversation, I think this is going to be pivotal, because we need to talk about this piece of it, is the toxic relationships. What's the obvious toxicity, and then the not so obvious stuff that's happening. And so this conversation will end up going into next week as well. So go ahead, and if you have anything to say about that. Or
sure. I have just a couple points to your point. Yes, there are times where we can see things, right? And we deny them, and our family or friends can see things, and they're afraid to say something because they see you in the relationship, they perhaps see you happy, they see you together, and they don't want to offend you that this person may not be the one for you. But I think that you need to consider the source, number one, right? Who is saying this to you, and what could possibly be their motivation, right? And then 2, they have a different view of this. They're not emotionally connected to this person, and they see things differently than you do.
More objectively, absolutely more objectively.
Yes. And I think one of the things that we can do, just to, you talked about your gut, and I like to call it my inner advisor, right? So my inner advisor it's so funny, because I think about it like being here in the center of my chest, and the inner advisor is like trying to poke its way up, and I'm going like, and it's like all the time, I'm trying to push it down. But I think one huge red flag, and this is just so simple, is if you cannot be true to yourself, if you can't be with this person and it's not like breathing, that's a red flag.
Amen.
That's perfect. That is so simple. And you're absolutely right. If you cannot be yourself, and it cannot be that simple. It's not saying that, so don't get, this is not what Laura's saying. Is relationships they're like a business. They're work. They take work on both sides, especially both sides, not just one person. But in the end, in those moments, oh my God, I love that. If it is not like breathing, that's simple. That's huge. That's absolutely, that's a simple way to look at it.
That analogy can fit across the board for many people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I think that above all else, right? We can talk about aggression and controlling behaviors and family members, but you're the one in the relationship. You have the real touch point of what the dynamics look like. And if you feel that you are not who you are, you're not able to express yourself, you don't feel good, something is just not right, trust that. And I think also, if you want different things, okay, that's something that should be addressed immediately. I would say within the first 2 conversations, what are you looking for, right? Are you looking for a one-night stand, a hookup? Are you looking for a friend, a companion? Are you looking for a long-term relationship? What are you looking for? That's got to be right from the jump. What is it, right? Because if we're not looking for the same thing in terms of a relationship, why bother?
Right. Mm-hmm. And I think we're always afraid to say that, though, especially when you're younger. You know, when you get older, you kind of don't care anymore, but because you're really clear about who you are. But when you're younger, you're always like, oh, I want to get married and have kids someday. I don't want to say that right off the get-go because that's going to like spook the person, you know? Yeah. Right. In the end, it's like you're just better off saying, you know, what are your goals? What are your goals? And if you get somebody that says, well, I don't have any. Okay, bye.
Run. Yes. So I think.
And then he says, "Oh, by the way, this is Dutch. Dinner will be Dutch."
It'll be the last dinner ever.
Oh God.
Go ahead, Laura.
I think I've covered some of the big ones, right? The initial ones in the beginning and some of the major ones, you know, while you're in the relationship, right? And I think that here's something else, one more thing. People have patterns in their lives, okay? I'll give you an example. Something to keep antenna up. People have patterns, okay? People repeat these dynamics. Let's say lack of completion, okay? So they started, let's say a college degree, didn't finish. They're in a relationship that hasn't completely ended. They've been in a separation mode for 2 years and they haven't gotten divorced, right? They're, you know, have projects that aren't complete. They have these themes, right? That would be lack of follow through or non-committal, right? That you can see that these patterns are repeating over and over. That's something to keep your eyes open for. Do they have themes in their lives? That kind of takes a little bit more investigation, right? What are some of these themes? What are some of these patterns that you're seeing over and over? Red flag.
So definition of themes would be patterns. That's what you're saying?
I would say yes, patterns or kind of overarching themes that affect many facets of their lives.
So like a theme could be that they're always struggling, they're always broke. Like that is that what you're talking about? Okay.
Yeah, well, more so, I would look at why are they always struggling? What are the choices that are behind the struggle? And then are those decisions and choices and behaviors pervasive in their relationships?
Okay, that's good.
I would be on the lookout for that. Lack of boundaries would be a great theme, right? You see, they can't set a boundary with exes. They can't set a boundary with parents. They can't set a boundary with coworkers, constantly calling and intruding on their time, right?
Adult children.
Lack of boundaries.
This is such a fantastic conversation. I can't even tell.
Yes, because it's real, and
my God.
I think every woman has been through this. So there's nothing to be ashamed if you went through it once or twice. Hey, some of us are slow learners. Let's just keep it real, right? Some of us are just so fucking needy that we stay until they don't want us anymore.
Yeah.
Okay? So the red flag, you didn't learn about it until you were dumped on your ass for the whole sole purpose of ignoring his red flags. They get tired of it, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think we've all been on the same boat on different seasons of our lives. When I look back to my second long-term relationship after my son's father, and I sometimes I'm like, what the hell did I waste 7 years on? I knew I hated him after the second. It was guilt from hurting my first long-term relationship of just walking out because I just got fed up because he had his patterns and his themes. And no matter how great he was as a father, he was just something that he would be mad at me, not tell me why, and ignore me for 2 weeks. You get tired of that after 13 years. So then the second one, I felt guilty for hurting the first one because maybe I should have worked it out. Maybe we should have went to counseling. Laura knew. Laura and I worked together when this happened. So then what happens? Then you get into a second relationship where all of those traits were shown in the beginning. He was a narcissistic, needy man who could not self-identify on his best day. So why did I stay? Because of that, because I felt I deserved it. Like he was my karma. So I think we've all been through it at different levels. Laura, I think your explanation was great.
I do too.
Yes, I think that Lori and we had so much fun on Tuesday when we opened this up and we brought forth so many different things. But to hear it from a third party, it just like brings closure to what we said on Tuesday.
Yes.
So I thank you for your time. And it's just like, thank you for talking about the Steve Harvey book, because I hope people go out and get it or get it on your Kindle. I can't read Kindle. I need to
smell the book. I'm the same way. Yep, I love holding the book.
Read a book online. You ain't doing shit, you lazy. Go get a book.
No judgment.
Oh, yeah.
I do audiobooks too. I like those too, just because of time constraints sometimes. But yeah, I'm old school. I like holding and smelling.
Let me tell you something. If I don't have time to read a book, then I ain't sure as hell ain't got time to read it. I listen to it because guess what I'm gonna be doing? Hitting that fucking rewind button. Like what they said, because I'm busy doing this. No, when you have time, sit your ass down and grab a book and turn the pages.
Yeah.
It's that simple. See how controlling I am.
Narcissistic bitch. You're a narcissistic bitch. So, with that in mind, so thank you so much. Our time is up. And Laura, thank you so much for coming on. It's always a pleasure having you. You had such phenomenal insight today.
Oh my God, you were just
please, everyone, share this. This was a really, really fabulous conversation. Share this with everybody and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Get everybody on board with this, because this is what we're talking about. This is a prime example of how phenomenal the conversations can be. Add comments. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us and get help. We do coaching. Laura's there too to also help. You also have your own business and you teach. And so we're the tribe, we're here, and don't stay shut. These are the type of things that you don't want to stay shut. And next,
absolutely,
about toxic relationships. A lot of this is going to be repeated, but we're going to go even deeper. And we're describing you, and you're in one. This is where you need to say, okay, I can't be in this anymore. And you have 3 people right here that are in your court right now.
In your corner.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And before we left, Lori said something. And earlier I said how the universe conspires to guide you. And I said, and in the beginning I said this, Laura, how the universe he worked with us as we were choosing topics at the beginning. Before we aired the first one, I believe, we had like a lot. We had a lot of topics.
I think 12 topics or something.
And we haven't veered off of them. We've just added, like we kept the
Yes.
initial
Yes.
ones. And then there was some other conference calls we did where we had to, you know, pick dates. And we would switch from here. Okay, let's do this one here. Then this is a 2-part. Let's do it here. Let's do it here. And I'm so happy that we listened to the universe and we allowed it to guide us on this project. Because today we're talking about red flags. We're ending this week with the second part. And then we're starting on toxic relationships. And I think that we're already women of, you know, we're cougars. We're of ripe age, you know.
We're seasoned.
Well, you know what? I'm fully bloomed, okay? But I think we can't take away that these 18. We should start teaching this for 18-year-olds and up, because domestic violence is among the highest of high schoolers. And in Derby the other day, a girl was killed. A 23-year-old girl was killed by her boyfriend, I believe. Rosie. It's been all over. My nieces are all over the place. So what better time to have this type of subject? And
I didn't hear about it.
Yeah. Her boyfriend, jealousy. You know, they made it look like an accident, but he had stabbed her. And I guess she was trying to get away from him. But what I'm saying is, this is the type that we need to educate our both women and men. When I did public speaking in Fairfield High and Fairfield University, I spoke to a group, and I think there was more men than women, and we were talking about domestic violence. And I said, you know, they would say which they hit first. Anyway, the bottom line is, I tried teaching them how you come from a woman, you respect a woman, but there's a lot of women that are just vindictive bitches who antagonize these boys and these men, and then when they get hit, they want to like just ruin their lives. I know a lot of women who would do that, who just antagonize. I want to slap the bitch. They're just antagonizers, right? So anyway, with all that I'm saying is that we have to believe in something higher than us. We have to believe that God is not everything, but God is in everything, that the universe conspires to guide us to our purpose, towards our legend, because we all have one. And I think we just have to listen. And if we listen for the lessons that the universe and God is teaching us, then we will have clearer vision when seeing where we're supposed to be, right? Because the universe guides us. And sometimes we ignore it and we end up on the wrong path, and then we want to complain. Stay awake, you know, stay in love with yourself enough to notice these red flags on that first date. They
Yes.
pop up.
Yes.
Okay, that's it.
Another book, and speaking on your point, Marge, about your personal legend, right? The Alchemist.
The Alchemist,
Yes,
my
The
favorite.
Alchemist.
I found it
Yep.
inspiring.
It is the most.
Yeah.
9 times in reading it, and I own every copy for every time I read it. Yep, absolutely.
That's
But yes,
great.
ladies, thank you. Laura, you want to say goodbye? You want to leave a quote?
Yeah,
a
thank you.
message?
So we'll see you guys next week. Everybody have a great weekend. We want to thank our guest Laura for coming on, and join us next week for you need to hear this. And if you know anybody else who needs to hear this, forward it to them and have them come on for next week, because we're going into this in depth. And there's, like Margie said, everything happens for a reason. So maybe there's a reason you need to be hearing this, and God knows we do.
Yeah. We all do, right? It's always good for us to hear.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for coming on. And remember, be real, be you, I don't even know my mantra. Be you, be real, and be extraordinary. Be your best.
Yay!
Laura,
And Margie?
but let Laura say hers.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just gonna also just add on to your point, Marge, about, I think it's important for us to be still. Sit in that quiet of meditation and be still and listen to that voice, right? That voice, that inner voice is you, and you need to pay attention to that voice and listen to what that voice is telling you.
Of course, because before you can, you know, what's listen spelled backwards? Be silent. So be silent in that moment before you go and meet somebody. So when you stay silent, you become centered. So when you go out and meet them, you're listening with clarity.
Yes.
So trust yourself. That's all it is.
Yes.
All right, mi gente, and I am the Gladiator Guru, reminding you to breathe in the beauty, breathe out the bullshit. Namaste.
Bye, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Bye.